Online conference etiquette. Join 15 minutes before the start of the conference workshop. Make sure to dress appropriately. Remember that this is a formal engagement in an online setting. Check your Wi-Fi connection before joining the webinar or online training. Familiarize yourself with features you may need to use. Mute, unmute, stop, start video, and screen share. Mute your microphone when not talking. Use the raise hand button if you want to speak. Find a quiet place without interruptions. Be aware that you are on camera. Avoid doing things that may cause distraction. Use appropriate equipment for the webinar. If you're using your mobile phone, please use a headset to reduce the noise that they pick in your location. Please avoid using a speakerphone. When asking a question, always state your name and your institute and department first before throwing in your questions. Also, please make sure that your voice is clearly heard. Always be courteous and do not engage in a chat with others while the webinar is ongoing. The organizers reserve the right to disengage anyone from the webinar who will not follow the guidelines. We will start in a few minutes. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, fellow Tamaraws. Hello! So before we proceed with our program proper, magkamustahan muna tayo. Let's have a fun introduction. All right? Guys, kamusta kayo? You can type in your responses in the chat box section. Right? You can use emojis or GIFs. It will also do. Right? Guys, kamusta kayo? Sure ako, maraming mga fourth year students dito. Mga graduating students like me. Right? Guys, hello po. Kamusta po tayo? Ayan, okay naman po si Miss Laconsay. Yan, everything is fine from Mr. Gail. Hello po, good afternoon to everyone. Ayan, sure ako, complete ang attendance ng mga fourth year natin. Meron po ba tayong mga third year students? Or second year students? Alright, okay naman daw po lahat. Okay, so I hope everyone is well and fine. But before we start, let me introduce myself first. Okay, so I am Isa Mendiola, a fourth year hotel and restaurant management student, and your moderator for today. To kick off our program, let me give you a brief background of what Impact is. FEU is currently embarking on regular virtual learning sessions with industry experts to create an impact on curriculum design and delivery. This is done by bridging industry practice and academic training through an initiative dubbed as Industry Mentorship Program for the Advancement of Classroom Teaching, or in short, we have Impact. Now, to formally start the program, may we call on our Dean of the Institute of Tourism and Hotel Management, Dr. Joy Sheila Barraero Era, to give her welcoming remarks. Dean Joy?
Hi, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes po. Good afternoon po.
Hi, Isa. Good afternoon. And to all the students, participants, our faculty and guests, most especially to our resource speakers. Chef Bruce, a pleasant good afternoon, magandang hapon, and welcome to this Impact webinar entitled Family Team Restaurant Operations and Innovation in the Philippines. I hope everyone is doing well. Happy Saturday to everyone. And I'm quite happy to see and hear what's happening now in the restaurant industry, despite of or in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic. So I hope you have a lot of takeaways. Of course, we're very lucky to have Chef Bruce to discuss to us what's happening now in the restaurant industry. Thank you and welcome once again.
Ayun. Thank you po, Dean, for welcoming our students, our faculty, audience, and also our guest lecturer. Now, for the moment we are all waiting for. I hope you are all as excited as I am. All right, so may we now call Dr. Anna Pamela Honson to introduce the speaker for the day.
Can you hear me?
Yes, po,
Seth?
Doc.
All right.
Opo.
So, good afternoon to our guest speaker, to the Dean of the ITHM, Dr. Joy Sheila Era, to our academic managers headed by Ma'am Marie Chuliwanag and Chef Rocky Amasa and Dr. Lixal Lantican, to Dr. Alcaide from the Academic Affairs Office, to our faculty, ITHM faculty and staff, and to our FEU students. Sir Christian is also with us. Okay, so our guest speakers' education and professional involvements includes ServSafe certification, ServSafe San Jose, California, superior level of cuisine and pastry, Grand Diplôme, Le Cordon Bleu, London, United Kingdom, hygiene certification at Royal Institute of Health and Hygiene, London, United Kingdom, Letox Blanches Philippine Chef Association. He worked as an all-around cook at Century Park Sheraton, Philippines, and at Hyatt Regency Hotel, California. He became the kitchen supervisor at Jollibee Foods Corporation, and from purchasing agent to sous chef to executive chef at the Fish Hopper Restaurant, California. He worked as an executive sous chef banquets at MGM Grand Hotel and Casino at Las Vegas, Nevada, head chef at E&O Trading Company in San Jose, California, a segment host talent of Abbott, Philippines, an executive chef owner at Chef's Table. He also became consultant chef at Passion Cooks Catering, Licom Key Regional Consultant Chef with Licom Key Asia. He worked as a master chef with Philippine Airlines and became the brand ambassador of Electrolux Philippines, an executive chef at Rustic Kitchen, and the executive chef for the 30th Southeast Asian Game. With it, our guest speaker has accumulated impressive long years and vast experience in various traditional cuisines such as the French cuisine, Italian cuisine, Euro-Asian cuisine, and international food. Currently, he is the producer, the host of Mise en Place Entertainment Production, and the executive chef, owner of Mise en Place Foods Incorporated. The culinary chef in the cooking shows on TV such as Tablescapes Live on a Plate, Seasons 1 to 5, The Boss, Seasons 1 to 2, Search for the Next Celebrity Chef, Celebrity Chef East versus West, Manila episode, Fox Live Asia Channel. All these shows were aired on the Asian Food Channel, www.asianfoodchannel.com, a part of Scripps Network, who also own Food Network, HGTV cooking channel in the United States. Let us all welcome our guest speaker, Chef Bruce Lim.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. That was a lot. You read everything. Can you guys hear me? Is everything clear?
Yes, Chef.
All right.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to talk with you guys today, and thank you for the invitation. Like I said, I do apologize. I'm not in the office. I'm at home quarantine at the moment, so I have to give it to you in my aquarium room at the moment. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about what we're doing now for family restaurants, because it's kind of important that we learn how to adapt and get through the pandemic we're currently in. So we'll just wait for our slides to come up. There we go. So family restaurants, operations, and innovations that we are doing here in the Philippines to kind of help us get through it at the moment. I know it's pretty tough, and what we know as culinary isn't what it is now. It's kind of a bit different and tricky, but it's not the end of the world. So we're going to go through a few things that I came up with and that what we're doing in the restaurants as well, to kind of give you guys an idea of what can be done. Sorry. Yeah, so what is family style dining? And family style pretty much is what we are as a culture. Our Filipinos, we like family style food. So a lot of us, we tend to associate family style cuisine as more than just a way of eating. It's for us to actually get to know or catch up with our family, with our friends. It's like a gathering time when we can actually have fun, celebrate, and kind of, I don't know, figure out what's been or what's new. And unfortunately, with this pandemic, we kind of took that away from us, and we do have time with our family, but unfortunately, we don't have time with our friends. So if we kind of think about how we can get through this, we came up with a few ideas on what we do to actually help us kind of give the family restaurant dining experience via delivery. For some reason, my slides aren't playing. 1 second. All right, so we're going to talk about family style services. Yeah, so when we look at family style and you think about it, it's mainly fair priced. It has to be fair priced. What's that? You can go back to the next slide. Thanks. Yeah, and so moderately priced menus is really important. Meaning that a lot of times people with large families can't really spend that much on food because, of course, they have a really big family. So you have to make sure that the price points that you give for them are affordable for everyday working man. And you have to make sure that it's also family friendly. So you have to think about how your seasoning is going to be and all that. And it's always about table service rather than counter service. So it's not like when you go to a QSR or a quick serve restaurant, which is like Jollibee, McDonald's, you have to go up to the counter, you order your food, and then you get your tray of food, bring it back to the table. For family styles, you go in, you sit down as a family, you order it via server, and then they bring you your food. So it's actually, you have more time with the family, interact, and have fun with them. And normally, you have a full bar that's not seen by the dining room. So it's kind of separate from the main dining area. So, for example, if you have Max's, for example, you go in, that's a pretty good family style restaurant, but you don't really see their bar, but they do have a full bar because it's really mainly for the adults and not for the entire family and kids. So that's what pretty much family style dining really is and what it's about. We can go to the next slide. All right, so when you look at cultures that have family style dining, we're not the only ones. I mean, Filipinos are not the only people who do this and who enjoy family style dining. The Chinese do it as well. They have laureates or banquets where they have the same thing, except they have a lazy Susan. It's normally a round table. And if you look at the picture I sent you, it's like the mom who's actually serving, and the entire families are tucked in and they're eating. It's normally that's the way. So it's always like the matriarch or the patriarch is always talking and giving us direction as we're eating around the table. And it's the same way in like the Philippine culture as well. If you look at the other picture, it's like a brutal fight, which has been actually, if I'm not mistaken, that was done up by soldiers, if I'm not mistaken. But a lot of people kind of did that for their families as well. Well, this was pre-pandemic. They like to have boodle fights with their family because you get to really interact, you have fun, you laugh, and I really do love boodle fights as well myself. So it's a culture where you talk a lot, and unfortunately, with this pandemic, it really took that away from us, because we do have our immediate family, excuse me, which is like normally it's your wife and two kids, or your mom and your dad for you guys, but it's you don't really get to see your titas, your cousins, and all that stuff. And that's what the boodle fight was. You'd always have a really big gathering, and you would have it, and that's like the essence of a nice family style kind of dinner or meal. Um, yeah, and I think in Malaysia they also have one as well. It's called nasi padang, which is the same thing. It's just rice. It just means rice patty, but it's a bunch of different food. It's almost like a boodle fight, but not really. They have banana leaf that you can get in Singapore. There's a lot of things that you can find as family style food and how it is pretty much not just in our culture, but worldwide. All right, next slide. All right, so these guys are the leading kind of brands that you can see that really kind of take what family style dining is. You have Max's Restaurant, Gloria Marie's, Italiani, Shakey's, Pancake House, Rico's Lechon. Places like that, if you look at them, they realize that a lot of their sales were driven by families. It's not like a person who's going to come in by himself or a couple for a date. It's really family kind of driven places and or groups of friends. So if you look at there's a really cool the Barcada pack from Shakey's, you can get that. They actually understand that when you actually eat with friends, it's always happier. You're always going to be, you always have fun, you joke around, you play, and I'm sure that pre-pandemic, all of you guys have a favorite restaurant that you guys go to or that you like, and it's also family style. So you kind of can't take that away from how we are as a culture and what we are looking for. So we have to think about how we can actually bring that back to the families in their own homes. It's not like the end of the world, and we have to kind of adapt and innovate. Now, if you look at these guys, these people on your screen, these restaurants, they've done that. They've tried to kind of give the families a family style offering, but in a different way when they're not inside their particular restaurant. Next slide. All right, so what is innovation? And I think innovation is one of the most important things as a culinary student or just anyone in general. And it's not just because of the pandemic. I mean, you always have to innovate. Even before pandemic, people were doing innovation, and it helps you grow as a person. And my motto is never stop learning. So it always helps that you stay hungry, you stay motivated, you think about how you can, I don't know, bring something back and better to pretty much whatever you're doing. Now, if you remember, there's something as simple as a cronut, which was a croissant and a donut. Chef Ansel was the one who did it, and he had this awesome idea of bringing two things together. It's way before pandemic hit. So you always have to think about one, growth. How are you going to grow whatever you're doing, your company, your brand, your food? You think about your vision on where you want to go, what you want to think about, and see how you're going to get there. And of course, it taps into your creativity. Creativity is really, really crucial. So that's what you guys are learning now in school, and hopefully you're going to learn something from speakers like me. But you have to have that creativity and that inspiration, that drive that actually helps you get through it. So with all of that, with development, process, and idea, you actually come up with another kind of solid idea that becomes innovative. And innovation is like the biggest key on how you can actually grow personally and for your company as well. Next slide. All right. During pandemic, you have Rico's Lechon. They did a lot of frozen things, frozen packages that they're actually doing now. A lot of people are actually doing frozen packaging. Now, if you think about what happened when our first ECQ hit, it was a hard ECQ. I mean, we couldn't leave. The streets were literally closed, and we were all scared. I mean, we're all scared now, but we were really, really scared during that last ECQ, or the first ECQ, I should say. We really didn't know what was going to happen. But if you guys remember, what happened was there was like everyone sold out of bread flour. We couldn't find bread flour. We couldn't find flour. Why? Is because people started cooking at home. It is kind of like a blessing that it happened, but of course it's really bad that the pandemic hit. But it brought the people back to the grassroots of cooking. I mean, normally, I think that what helps the industry before, pre-pandemic, was people were kind of lazy. They didn't want to cook at home. They always ordered out. They always went to the canteen. I mean, you can get pretty cheap stuff for like 35 pesos and eat. So you really don't want to cook at home. Now, because of the hard ECQ, people learned how to cook. And I mean, the basic things like sauteing, julienne, basic terminology, people understand. So it helps now because what a lot of these restaurants did was they actually took that knowledge and said, okay, people are now cooking. They know how to turn on a stove. They know how to bake things. Let's give them some of these kind of ready to cook meals that they can offer or they can order that taste like our food. So Rico's Lechon, like for example, has frozen food. They just say, okay, they have instructions on how to heat it up, pop it in the oven. You have to heat it up for this much, brush it with oil this time, and then let it sit for about 5 minutes. So your cooking instructions are now a little bit more in detail. It's not so generic. So you can cater it to your specific restaurant and how you want to do it. And I think that's really, really important. You have to kind of see how you can give the restaurant dining experience to your customers, even though they don't actually come into your store and dine. Now, you can actually play with your food costs a little bit here. And this is what a lot of us are doing because you don't necessarily have diners coming into your restaurant, so your overhead isn't that high. But I mean, if you're in a mall, it's kind of tough. And if you don't own your own restaurant or your own lot, it's kind of tough because rent is also quite high. But you don't have that people coming in with like your utilities aren't as much, your labor cost isn't as high. So you have to learn how to drop down your price point. So, but you have to always think about when you are doing this, you have to tack in about, I would say 10% or 5% for your packaging fee, because the packaging now is actually what's killing a lot of the people because everything has to be individually packaged and you can't really eat the packaging, so it's not part of your food cost. We call it a non-food cost, Okay, so there's other things that you can do with it. Like, for example, you have the other one that's ready to cook by Shakey's, for example. And what's the other side? Can we go back to one slide? One second. Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, so we also have ready to cook meals that you can do. And I think that it also helps. Once.
Just tell me. Right?
Switch slides. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna do some new normal ideas for what we do during our pandemic. So these are some of the things that we're actually hitting up and we're having a hard time with. Is what we actually have to do now with the new normal. Now, a lot of times we have to make sure that people can wear face masks. And I think we have to make sure that we have alcohol sanitizing stations. And a lot of times we didn't have to do that. And I think by us, one second, I'm having a hard time with this. All right, there you go. So sorry. Yeah, so we have to think about contactless payments. And I think that if you think about it, before, interaction with the guest was one of the main things for us to kind of have fun with our guests, because as a server, as a chef, when we do table touches, we learn a lot about our clients. And unfortunately, we can't do that now because contactless payment is something that a lot of people want. So you have PayMaya, Gcash, GrabPay. A lot of that kind of takes away from our personal touches with them. So you have to kind of learn how to be a little bit more animated when you do it. So when I actually approach a guest, they can't see my smile anymore. So you have to kind of be a little bit more animated, use more hand gestures. There are things that you have to do to kind of adapt for us to actually see and work with them. And kind of like right now, I can't really see you guys or interact with you, but it's just a screen. So it's a little bit difficult, but if you kind of learn how to do it, it kind of all falls into place. And again, is we have to provide everyone with vaccination. I think that vaccination is really important. There's a lot of anti-vaxxers out there, but for us in the restaurants that I'm working on, we are 100% vaccinated. So that's something that we kind of pride ourselves in. And it's something that we have to kind of show. I mean, during regular pre-pandemic, I mean, who really cared about vaccinations and face masks? But unfortunately, we have to kind of do what the actual trends are, and or not really trends, safety is. And there's really no actual COVID safety protocols in place by the FDA. So it's pretty much you have to do whatever you think is actually safe. If you've been in the industry for food manufacturing, everyone wears face masks. It's really nothing new. It's just now that we have to wear a face mask outside of the kitchen. We have to wear it on the streets. So it's really just about adapting and becoming a little bit more innovative on how you actually do it. So QSR codes are one of them, or QR codes, I should say, are one of them. And it's really, you have to kind of clearly post things that you are doing everything you can to keep your restaurant COVID free. Like I said, I'm actually in quarantine right now because when I came into close contact with a COVID positive person. I did get swabbed. I am negative, but I still want to take another extra time for us to be quarantined. My entire team is quarantined. So we actually shut down an actual restaurant and we quarantined ourselves. And then it's just keeping positive and staying ahead of the game. Yeah. So next slide. All right. So 20 years ago, there are two options for pretty much food delivery. And it was really just Chinese takeout food and pizza. So now it kind of actually goes beyond that. We can order more than just pizza online. Everyone has the mobile apps called Food Panda, Grab Food, Lala Food, and pretty much everyone else has some way of getting food to you. And I think that's one of the most important things that you have to think about when you are dealing with this type of food, especially in this pandemic. You have to think about how you can shoot or take or capture your food that's one, looks good on the app, and two, when it actually gets to the person who's going to eat your food, it still looks the same as how it would look on the app. So instead of thinking about how or the plating now changes. I mean, before we would plate, you'd have so many different plates. You would have height. You would have make sure it's nice and round. You would make it linear or lawn or yin and yang. You have different types of drizzling, but now none of that matters. I mean, plating now, it's not necessary. You have to make sure that you have a food packaging that's one, hermetically sealed, or you can seal it really good. Two, it has to be fully sealed. There's no way for it to open up or spill. So your food has to make sure that your sauce comes in a different container. Your main course comes in a different container, and then your rice is in another container. So why do you have to think about plating anymore? But you have to think about how it's presented. And if it's presented nice in the container and it shoots really, really well, so that when the app actually gets it and they put it onto their site and they can show how it's going to look, then it has to look good. You have to spend the time in actually doing that. Also, you have to make sure that how it is when you actually shoot it and when it gets to the client, you have to make sure that it's still going to look the same, because there is Facebook, there is TikTok, there is Instagram, and if your food doesn't look nice, I'm sure you're going to be on TikTok and all the other social media outlets, because a lot of people always say, or most people will complain about something, then actually post something saying that it's really, really good. So please keep that in mind. Now, it's actually, you have to kind of, for example, myself, I had to learn a lot of different ways how to shoot, how to edit, how to use TikTok. I mean, it's a lot of it was like foreign to me. I'm a chef. Why do I need to do that? But if I need my food to sell and I want to sell my food correctly, you have to learn how to do it. So you have to adapt and innovate on how you actually present your food to the people who are now eating it over the phone. Yeah, next slide. So a lot of this is, a lot of people have reinvented the kitchen or the commissary. For food manufacturing, we call the kitchen a commissary, and majority of that is, if you look at the big QSRs like Jollibee, Chowking, McDonald's, or not McDonald's, but the big guys, they all have commissaries that make majority of their food. So when they make it so the taste is always the same in one central kitchen, or the commissary kitchen, and it shoots out to their different outlets. Now, a lot of the problems were the outlets aren't really open. I mean, you cannot get a full capacity Chowking or full capacity Jollibee or Tokyo because you can't dine inside. So these commissaries are noticing there's a decline in how much food they have to produce. They open it up to another thing called a cloud kitchen or a ghost kitchen or a satellite kitchen. So what you can do is a lot of companies, if you heard about like the Grab kitchen, where some restaurants would go in, they can't afford a full-on rent of a mall, so they're going to go into the Grab kitchen or Grab commissary. They just rent maybe like 2 burners or 2 areas, and they actually cook and they sell out of that. So a lot of commissaries have been adapting to this actual model, letting different people in and then letting them cook in one area and start selling food out. It's actually a very, very good idea if you're in the commissary industry and you need to use it. That's one way of doing it. The only downside with that is you can't control the amount of people who come in. It's like, for example, for us in the restaurant, we always tell people that they have to control their bubble, meaning the people that they're exposed to is really, really important. I mean, you cannot go out, you cannot just go out and see your friends. So I actually haven't seen a friend in such a long time. It's not that I'm a loser, it's because I have to keep my bubble intact. So I'm thinking about my team, I'm thinking about who I'm feeding, I'm thinking about all that. So I'm only exposed from home to my team, and that's it. I don't go out anywhere where it would expose me to chances that I might pick up COVID. So it's the same with these cloud kitchens. You have to think about the same thing on how you can actually control your bubble. Yeah, so that's kind of how a lot of people now get into like working their commissary kitchens and being a little bit more innovative. All right, off-premises dining is what we actually shoot for now. I mean, during the regular or pre-pandemic, you can always go out and eat, but now we have to think about ways on how to bring that restaurant experience to our customers. And a lot of it is called meal kits. We call it meal kits now in the industry. It's pretty much everything is all there from starter to main course. It's really how we actually get people to enjoy our food. But again, unfortunately, you can't go higher than about six packs because there's not going to be that many people who are celebrating at home by themselves. An average household would be about 4 to 6. So, and if you kind of go anything higher than that, no one really wants to spend more than like 2,500. And when you're trying to do your food costs on that, you probably can do maybe about 6 buy-ins, the most, and then that's how you kind of have to figure that out. But off-premises dining is one of our most important selling factors. Okay, this is another thing that we found. A lot of people, you have to kind of reevaluate your customer demand. I think that's the most important thing, is you have to base your menu on what people want. And we found that a lot of people are hitting the comfort food zone. I think if people want to eat out, they look for comfort food. And a lot of these places, such as if you think about Pancake House, it's the fried chicken and the tacos and the spaghetti. And if you think about Jollibee, it's Chicken Joy, it's pancit palabok and spaghetti. So a lot of them are noticing that they're really selling so much of those items, and some of like the items that are new that they thought would do well are not moving. It's because people are spending now during the pandemic on more comfort food. And if you think about when we actually are willing to actually buy food out and bring it in for us to actually consume as a family, it's kind of like special events, their birthday, graduation, anniversary, but mainly birthdays. And if you think about it, it's really the things that you want to eat that brings you back to comfort. So you have to make sure that everything you do, if let's say Mellows want to sell something and they're known for their steaks, they have to think about how they can make that steak hit the home, and when it's there, it's 100% perfect. There's some people they're doing in the States. You order their food, and then there's like a little app that they have. You can just hit the QR code. It loads on your phone, and it has cooking instructions on how you actually do the food that enters to you. So there's a lot of ways you can innovate on that. But it's really how much time you're willing to put in it, and what do you think will sell the most. That's why a lot of the home entrepreneurs, the people that make maybe 2 or 3 dishes, but they do it really, really well. Like cookie people selling cookies, I've seen a lot of pad thai online. They do it extremely well. They have the time to actually put the care into it, and it's actually comfort food that people do look for, because I always look for a good chocolate chip cookie. So I'll probably go online, I'll hit up Oddsies, because that's my favorite cookie person, and I will buy myself a cookie. So you have to kind of think about how and who your clientele is and how you're going to reach them by playing with their heartstrings. All right, bringing the dining experiences at home is something I mentioned again earlier. And this is what a lot of people who sell samgyeopsal or bulgogi, they actually have this kind of set for the people. You can buy set C. It comes with a plug-in hot plate, so you can have. What was that? So you can have like a Korean hot plate dining experience at home. The only difference is you have to clean up the mess after. And I think if you look at it, we, like me and my mom, my dad, my kids, we like to eat Korean barbecue. It's kind of interactive for us. So when I do it, we also like use the hot plate. I'll order some steak, or if I can do it myself, I will. And then we all cook. And I think it really helps us kind of understand, or kind of get back to just talking to each other and playing with it. And I think that's the most important thing. This is another thing that a lot of people kind of like, but it's not something that we all can afford. And I don't really think that it's a really great business model for everyone, but I put it up there so you guys can see. This is what we call the mobile kitchen. And if you want to have the mobile kitchen, Wolfgang's is an awesome restaurant, and they do have top tier clientele. but it's something, if we were trying to do it for an everyday layman, it would be kind of hard because your actual overhead to actually make a mobile kitchen, it's not easy. You're going to probably spend at least maybe 2-3 million, and then you're going to go out and put yourself at risk going to a person's house, and you're probably going to have to feed at least 50 people to actually make you earn and not lose when you actually go out. But it's something how one company innovated to bring their food to their clients. And yes, their Wolfgang's clients are pretty rich, so they can probably go to their house and cook for maybe 10 of them, and they would probably make a lot of money. But it's not really meant for everyone. What a lot of other big guys are doing, like for example, if you see Yellow Cab, Krispy Kreme, Tokyo, Kentucky Fried Chicken, is they kind of took the food truck example, but not really a food truck. They get container vans and they just kind of plop them down in one area, and that becomes a kitchen. Only drive-through, you can only do drive-through. So your overhead is lower, you just have minimum labor, you have basic equipment, your menu is limited as well. So whatever you have that fits in a 20-foot container, that's pretty much it. So you don't have to carry a full-on menu. But if you look at it, it actually helps them tap the areas where, one, it would be hard for parking, two, where it's really congested and it's not really easy to put on a restaurant. And building costs, you can literally just plop it down in any empty lot that's cemented, right? And all you have to do is put water and electricity, and you're pretty much fine. So if you think about it, people, innovation is really part of how we're going to actually survive the pandemic. And I think, I'm not going to say that, I hope not, it's not going to last for 5 years. It should be over pretty soon. And I'm hoping, I'm staying positive about that. So when we get back to the new normal, I'm sure that, we're going to kind of learn from everything that we're doing now. All right. All right. So this is another one that it kind of worked, but not really. It's park and dine, because you would park in the parking lot, and then a server comes out to you, you get your order, then you guys can eat in your car. The only downside to this is there's not enough restaurants that we have here that have really big parking lots. If you think about this concept, was something like if you're from the States, there's a place called Sonic Burger. And it's kind of like the old school way of how Americans would go into like a little fast food joint where you would park, you order, a person on roller skates comes out and brings you your meal. It's kind of similar to that, but it's really, we haven't done it much here in the Philippines. One is because we don't have a parking lot big enough that's just allotted for one restaurant. Max has done it because they do have a lot of areas that are landed, that are not in malls, that have really big restaurants, parking areas. So that works for them. But for other restaurants, not really. Excuse me. All right. So it's something that if you have the land and you have the lot, go ahead and do it. But again, it's their way of innovating on how they can get an old concept and bring it now to see if people are going to actually use it. All right. So yeah, the conclusion to this is every crisis has its silver lining. The COVID-19 pandemic may have disrupted the business as usual and forced some drastic changes upon the restaurant industry. But this disruption has also awoken many F&B professionals like yourselves to an opportunity to accelerate tech trends, fast-track change, and reimagine restaurants. And if you think about that, it's really what we've done. I mean, at first, yes, we were scared and we didn't know exactly what to do. Don't get me wrong, I am still scared of this, but it doesn't end. We kind of adapted on how we can actually take what we know as chefs and as foodies, as hospitality industry people, and how we can actually bring it back to the people that are at home. And if you think about it, we may not be first responders like how we are, how like nurses are, doctors and all that, but we have to make sure that people, when they order our food, they're extremely happy with it. And it makes them happy, because food can do so many things to you. I mean, if you have a really bad dish, you're going to be so pissed off. I mean, it's something that's like you get really, really angry. But if you have a really, really good dish, it kind of makes you calm. You know, it's like, damn, that was really good. You feel happy, you feel excited. And again, if you're having a really bad day, you want to eat something that's comforting. That's what you have to do. You eat something, you pick the food that you really like to eat. And when you eat it, you're like, okay, everything's going to be better. So you have to take into consideration that we are more than just kind of restaurateurs. We have to think about how we can hone our craft, how we can bring the best possible quality food during this pandemic. And again, I mean, this is going to end, and we're not going to be in COVID forever. I'm not going to be talking to you on a computer screen. For sure, we're going to sometimes like meet one day, have a face-to-face. Yeah, it doesn't stop here. All right. Now, this is like a quote from Charles Darwin that I really, really like. I talk about this with my staff a lot, and we kind of use this as an example, kind of like a motto to get us through the day. And it is not the strongest of species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most receptive or responsive to change. So if you kind of understand that, don't get comfortable. You know, don't think that just because we're where we're at, we're all good and dandy. Things happen, and you have to adapt. You have to kind of notice when to adapt, when to change, and not be like, I don't want to do it. Don't be hard-headed about it. Don't be scared, and just be cautious, but go for it. There's a lot of things that you'll realize that you can do that you really didn't think about. So as much as possible, be responsive to change, and this pandemic is going to definitely end soon. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chef Bruce. Your discussion is very insightful and very helpful, especially to us fourth-year students who'll be graduating next year. And I believe, many of us will also start our businesses. So we will take that in mind. Lalo na sa ating mga culinary students who are also present here. And also, it's not every day a world-renowned celebrity chef gets to teach you live, diba? You know what? I feel like I'm in Selena Gomez's cooking show. Guys, do you watch that? Chef Bruce, do you also watch that show?
I've never watched that before, but I'll look it up on YouTube now that you mentioned it.
Yes, it's on its second season, and it's an online setup, and through that, learning never stops, right? Selena gets to invite chefs around the world, and through her show, we also get to learn from them. And that is also what we are doing right now. And we are honored to be part of this lecture series. And we also get to learn from Chef Bruce himself.
Thank you so much.
So, heart reacts naman tayo, guys. Let's show some love. Let's show some support to Chef Bruce. All right. So to proceed, the floor is now open for your questions to Chef Bruce. All right.
Yeah.
You can type in your questions in the chat box section, or you can open your microphones. Just make sure to raise your hand, okay? Dun sa ating mga options for the reactions or emojis, so we can be orderly as possible. All right. Okay. We have po a question, Chef. Good afternoon, Chef Bruce. I am Nehemiah Ferrer, fourth-year student from FU ITHM department. I really love the topic that you shared with us. My question is, does innovation that aims to have competitive advantage needs to be too costly?
No, not at all. I mean, you have to kind of think about what suits your needs best and what your budget is. I mean, everything is based around budget, especially when you want to make money. Now, you have to just keep into consideration what are our challenges at the moment, right? So, if our challenge is currently the biggest challenge ever is COVID, we have to kind of play on how we can actually make sure that our food is COVID free. So if you do take ServSafe certification, you will learn basic food safety, and I'm sure you learn it in school as well. So just follow those lines. And I would say the most important thing that you have to take advantage of, especially now, is social media. Social media is the guerrilla marketing of our time now. Before, guerrilla marketing was handing flyers out door to door, knocking on things. Now it's Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and yeah, all that is your thing. So kind of spend money on that, learning how to make your food look good, and then make sure that your food is always 100% COVID free. Yeah.
Okay, thank you po, Chef Bruce. We also have another question. Hi, Chef Bruce. Good afternoon. This is Lorraine Laconsay, a fourth-year HRM culinary student. I just want to ask if in every innovation that food establishments do during this time of pandemic, are there any instances that the idea wasn't successful? If yes po, what are the examples of those innovations? Thank you so much po.
Yeah, that's a very good question, because you learn most from the failures than you actually do from the successes. One of them was the one I put in for Wolfgang. That was something that really didn't do well. Only Wolfgang can do it, but no one else can replicate it, just because it's too costly. Even food trucks at the moment are not doing well because they cannot go out and people can't go to get the food from them. The other thing is the park and dine was also one option that didn't really work well, because not all establishments have parking lots. So that's why I put those two in so that you can see that they are good ideas and they did innovate, but they didn't really take off as much as we wanted them to.
Okay, thank you for that, Chef. We also have another question. Good afternoon, Chef Lim. My name is Hal Constantino, a fourth-year student from FU ITHM department. I just want to ask, is location still a big factor to consider when starting up a small restaurant business?
Right now, no. Location really isn't anything. It's really about, if I was going to actually invest in something right now, it was how to make a home pantry or a home kitchen food safe. How you can invest on that, because everything is done online. If you were in maybe like a CBD, for example, and you live close to, let's say, if you were in where's the place? Pilar, for example. If you're in Pilar and Pilar Taguig, and then your majority of your clients are in BGC, you're still central. And all you have to do is, you're still going to show up on their search for Food Panda or Grab Food. You're still going to show up. So it doesn't really matter. You can have a really beautiful kitchen, because Grab Food is going to go to you, Lala Food is going to go to you, Food Panda will go to you. And you're within what, maybe 100 peso delivery fee charge, or yeah, delivery fee or service shipping fee. So it's not really about how you need a landed property to make yourself a really good business. It's how you know what your target is from where you're actually going to make the food, and that's it. Because shipping fee right now is the biggest thing that a lot of people look at. I mean, when I want to order food, or as you can see, I'm a fish guy. I do get a lot of fish supplies and I can't go out, so I order it, and I always ask them, how much is shipping fee? Because shipping fee is actually going to either make or break whatever you're going to buy online. So don't worry about the location at the moment. Think about where you are and how to sell from the location that you're going to actually set up shop in. And that's what your target market is. I would say maybe in 2 years, location would be okay. But right now, don't worry about it, because a lot of chefs, a lot of restaurateurs are having such a hard time with rent, because rent right now is no joke. Yeah, it's really something that you guys have to be aware of. So I would say don't rent anything at the moment. Wait for 2 years to kind of subside, see the market after 2 years, then you decide if you either going to expand your business or expand where you live, make it a bit bigger, and then produce more out of that.
Thank you, Chef. I also agree that after 2 years, possible na po magkaroon ng location. But for now, we have the availability naman of the Grab of Food Panda para sa mga businesses natin so that we can still accommodate our customers. All right? So we still have time po for the questions. So if you have questions, please type them in the chat box section. Right? And we also have another from Mr. Ferrer. I am Nehemiah Ferrer again. My question is it true that if your business is not in the internet market today, your business would fail? If so, do you have any tips how to penetrate the internet market successfully?
I mean, it's tough if you're not on the internet, because that's where you get the most traction. Will you fail? You know, if you have a strong, let's say, a local panaderia, for example, where you buy your pandesal every day. You know it's there. You can always walk in. You can buy your 2 peso, 250 peso pandesal. You're not going to die. But if you are a startup where you don't have clientele at the moment, then you really have to try to find a way into the internet. The easiest way to do it is make yourself an account. Study hashtags. Hashtags are key. You can Google search pretty much everything, or you can ask Siri if you have a phone or an iPhone, and what are popular hashtags. And normally a lot of that will come up. Let's say if you're gonna make something odd, banana fosters, for example, you would say hashtag banana fosters.p or hashtag banana fosters ph. If you're gonna make sisig, sisig ph, and then you have to make sure that you can make something that people click on to see that you're actually very good. And then once you're there, you make sure that when they click that link and they see that you're there, they have to know how to order from you. So if you can't get all the information in one glance, then like myself, I just swipe, you know what I mean? You don't really want to do it. So you have to make sure that everything, all your information is all in one glance so that when you get it, you know what it is, you know what you're selling, you know how to contact you. It has to be complete. So I would say that's the best way of doing it. There are a lot of YouTube guys right now doing it as well. You can check it out on YouTube, how to kind of grow your business online. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's this one, I can't remember what his name is, something dumpling guy, but he talks about that as well. Just look it up on YouTube, and they're going to teach you guys how to actually get more of an internet presence. And is it important? I would say yes, it is. Especially if you're a startup company, then you should. I hope that helps.
Thank you, Chef. We also have another question from one of our professors. She says, "Thank you very much, Chef Bruce. What advice can you give to our students in preparation for their careers in the restaurant industry in the future?"
This is a good question. I get this all the time. Never stop learning. That's the best thing I can say. Use this time to think about what you want to do in the restaurant industry. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, the food industry is huge. You can go, if you go cold kitchen, you're going to hit grand manger. You're going to do all kinds of things for the salads. You can go pastry, you can go hot, you can go bakery, patisserie. So at this stage, you can kind of think about what you really like and research as much as you can. There's a lot of things out there besides Facebook. You can, besides YouTube, you can Google search things. You can learn as much as you want. And then you can kind of say, hey, I kind of have this affinity for it. I really like this. Then start playing with it. You can order pretty much any ingredient online right now. So cook for your family, and then get that done first. I mean, learn if you really, really like that type of cuisine, then do it. I mean, some people like Thai food and they're just watching a bunch of YouTube videos on Thai food and they're cooking Thai food. There's some people who really like coffee and they're learning how to do different types of pours, from cold brew, what the grind does. I mean, there's a lot. So use this time to educate yourself more in the food industry so that you have an idea of which path you want to take when we kind of open up. Yeah, this is great because you get to cook for your family, one, and two, they're going to give you the honest opinion if it's good or not. So just don't stop learning and keep on cooking. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. We have like what I mentioned a while ago, Selena and Chef. That's one of the things then that I learned from. Thank you for that, Chef Bruce. We also have another question from Miss Juliet. Good afternoon, Chef Bruce. My name is Juliet Lamas, a fourth year HRM culinary student. In connection to the previous question, I believe mobile kitchens or food trucks are a great idea when location is just a minor factor. How come there are only limited businesses operating them? Isn't it a great investment?
Good afternoon. Yes, it's a great investment. But again, for you to actually do that, you have to have a solid brand.
London,
And
United.
a lot of the QSRs are the ones who actually execute this well, is because they have the brand awareness now. I mean, if you just say Yellow Cab, you know that they're going to have pizza, Charlie Chan pasta. It all comes to mind. If you think about Krispy Kreme, you know you're going to get the regular ice glaze, chocolate ice glaze, or what was that Korean band? Blackpink series. Wasn't there a Blackpink series of Krispy Kreme? So, you know, there's a lot. I mean, there's brand awareness. And if a lot of other companies, especially now in this pandemic, we're not hitting the numbers that we used to do. So expansion is something that we can't think about. Um, if we open up a container van location or kitchen, that means we're going to have to kill one of our outlets. When you kill one of your outlets, you lose that entire outlet. Everyone who's there, you know, your labor, your team is gone because you have to sell everything to post one area up. It is a good idea, but as a leader and as a chef, I couldn't do that. I mean, I could say my team is my team, and I couldn't do that to them. And I think other businesses also feel the same way, that they can't just kill one outlet to open up another one, unless I guess the pandemic is over, and if they can clearly afford it, is the only time they're actually going to go into it. So I think those two are the main factors why a lot of people aren't entering in that particular that business model. But you know, yeah, I do agree with you. It's a wonderful business model, but I guess after maybe post pandemic, it's when we're probably going to use it a lot. But I hope that helps.
Thank you, Chef. We also have another question from our Dean. Hi, Chef Bruce. Because of the pandemic, there is a reduction of dining footprints and an increase on takeout and delivery services. How do restaurants adapt and compete to make sure that they are the preferred choice over their competitors?
Good question, Dean. The best one I would say is you have to stick to what you do best. I mean, what you do well. Um, there are a lot of restaurants, like for example, you have Burger Machine, Angel's Burgers, McDonald's, who else? Zark's, Brothers Burger. So a lot of burgers are out there, but if you think about what makes yours unique, is what the people are going to go for. So you really don't have to worry about price, because there's no way anyone's going to beat Angel's Burger. I mean, it's what, 20 pesos for 2 burgers, or it might be more now, but I haven't eaten that in a while. So it's like, you just can't beat over for the price. People eat now for the comfort food side of it, and if they want a particular dish dish, they'll order it no matter what it costs from their favorite restaurant. So you kind of have to kind of realize what is your particular dish that people really, really love. You have to identify which that is and do it well. And then you have to kind of market that really, really well. So your competitors can't really touch you on that aspect. But you know, a fry is a fry and a burger is a burger. But if you have a unique selling point that identifies well with your customers, they can never take that away from you.
Thank you po, Chef. We have another question from Miss Jenny Rose Ko. Good afternoon, Chef Bruce. I'm Jenny Ko, a fourth-year culinary student, and I thank you for the very informative presentation. I am just curious on how did your restaurant operation handle the food waste caused by COVID-19, if there is any, since most of the possible customers are staying home and afraid to dine out?
Yeah, that's a very good question. The first lockup, the first ECQ, we couldn't do anything about it because no one foresaw it. We threw away a lot of food. That was almost, how many months was that lockdown, man? Like about what, 3 months? It was a 3-month hardcore lockdown where no one can move. We couldn't foresee that. I mean, even if we had frozen food, we threw it away. There was nothing we can do. A lot of the food in our chillers were already gone. So you can imagine the cleanup we had to do with that. But how we prevent food waste now, it's simple. We actually know what our forecast is going to be, and we only produce what we can. So if we have a prep list, and when you get into the industry, you have prep lists and what you have to do per day. We make it so that we just make enough for this many orders. Now, like I said, we do have a lot of signature dishes that a lot of people want. So that's the one we kind of stock up on. And the slow moving ones, we either remove it from the menu or we just hold the minimal amounts of it. Now, if we do go in, let's say, for example, the one restaurant I'm doing right now, we're not so busy during the weekends, but we're really busy during the week. We'll tone down our prep during the weekend, and we actually do a lot of our cleaning up during the weekend. When it hits Monday, if we still have food from the weekend, we donated all our food to the frontliners. That way it doesn't go bad or it's not spoiled. So you kind of have to think about what you're willing to do and how you're going to actually do it. For us, our give back is we give it back to the frontliners because they are keeping us all safe, keeping our community safe. And then as a restaurateur, as a chef, you have to think about how your food cost is. And again, it's not bad at 86. I mean, if you have to 86 something during this pandemic, people will understand. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Just give them 10% off and say, please order tomorrow. We're going to have it. And I'll give you 10% off on your next order. You know, there's a lot of ways how you can kind of make an 86 sound nice.
Thank you for that, Chef. I also have a question. It's a bit off topic, but being a celebrity chef doesn't happen overnight. There are challenges and struggles that you experience. So how did you overcome them all when you were starting?
That's a very good question that no one really ever asks. It was I know, it was kind of surreal. I think how I handled it was I got caught up in the limelight, and I think that the fame or how people perceive you kind of got to you, and you kind of like it, you feed off of it. But after a while, like the thing I miss the most is, you know, the animosity, the being private, that nobody knows you, that you can kind of walk around and have fun. It's kind of tough. You have to learn how to balance both. And from a person that wasn't raised in the life, because I was a chef by trade, I fell into this when I moved here to the Philippines. You really don't know what to expect. So cooking on TV and cooking for an audience is two different things, or cooking in a restaurant is two different things. My only thing was when I was cooking for a TV show, you don't realize how many times you have to cook the dish. It's like how we would normally cook it once in a restaurant, making sure it's perfect and nice. You don't do that for a TV show because they have to get the angles, they have to make sure that they hear it and they can see you cutting. So you actually make the dish maybe 4 or 5 times, so that every angle is done. So you have to repeat yourself 4 or 5 times. So it's actually, it's kind of tough. But you know, you just kind of take it one day at a time, I think. And if people want to become a celebrity chef, I would say learn the basics muna, get your craft down. That way your skill will show on TV. It's not something that's pilit or you have to act. And then after that, take it slow. You know, it'll come if you're good and people like you. It'll come. And then try your hand at YouTube videos. I mean, YouTube videos are cool. You meet a lot of cool celebrities or personalities, I should say, on YouTube. So you can always try there as well, or TikTok. Why not? Yeah. But thanks for the question.
Yes, thank you, Chef. For our students, take note, take note of what Chef Bruce mentioned. Chef, we also have our last question.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so good afternoon, Chef. I am Janelle Aguinaldo, third year BSHRM Culinary Management student. I would like to ask, how will the restaurants adjust after the pandemic, and is it still advisable for these restaurants to make the frozen food ready to cook food after our situation now?
Yes, most definitely. I would still keep that on as an option. Um, when pandemic is over, when we say we're 100% clear, there's still going to be fear in people, and they won't go out. They will go out, but they're going to slowly enter dining areas. Now, before pandemic, we would have meetings in Starbucks, or we would have meetings in any coffee shop. And this was a complete stranger that we did not know for anything, but we had to sit down with them, have coffee, and talk. Uh, we learned as a community, or as a country, on how easy Microsoft Teams is, or Zoom, or Google Meet is. So you're going to wonder, I mean, if we can actually have meetings, and I can have a talk with it, let's say, how many students do I have here? I have 220 participants right now. I'm talking to 220 participants in my aquarium room. So it's like, you think about, are we going to actually go to a restaurant to have a meeting, or are we going to just say, let's have a Google Meet and then keep it so I don't have to pay a dinner bill that's going to be 10,000 because I'm going to sit down with possible investors. I'm not. I'm going to have a Google Meet, and I'll send them a gift basket. Maybe that's going to only cost me 2,000 pesos. So after pandemic, it's not going to be business as usual. I really don't see that. I think because right now what we learned as a culture, or as a country, is, we can kind of do things online. I mean, we can order online, groceries, food, medicine. We can have meetings online. We can go through classes online. So to tell the people that say, hey, COVID's gone, let's go back out for a dining experience, I don't really see it coming back to 100%. I mean, it'll be open, we can seat 100% capacity, but we're not going to get the business that we're going to get for a while. Maybe we have to come up with another thing. We have to innovate one more time to get the people back into the restaurant. And I see that's what's going to happen. So I would say, do not go away with the frozen food, because that's still going to be a way for you to actually generate income. And it could be a totally different line. Just how you have Max's and Max's Corner Bakery, it could be Max's Take Home Food. So it's a way that for us to kind of look at different outlets and build. But at the same time, we can still generate income from that outlet. And then it gives us time to find another innovation to bring people back into our restaurants. I hope that helps.
Thank you, Chef. I would also want to ask if there are still questions from our participants.
Yeah, these are very good questions, actually.
All right, I think wala na po. So thank you so much, Chef Bruce, for making this session enjoyable and instructive. Chef Bruce, if I may ask po, do you have any last minute advice or tips na you want to share?
Yeah, I just say, everyone, just like I said before, never stop learning. This is the time that you guys can actually learn as much as you can by just watching and learning and talking to people. Stay positive. I know that the pandemic did hit everyone in a really hard way. But what I always say, if you're surviving, you're winning. Just make enough to survive. I mean, you don't have to make 1,000,000 pesos and try to, buy a new house and car. Just get by day to day, and what we learn from this will make us stronger when this is all over. So stay positive, and I can't wait to actually see you guys and have a face to face with you guys, not on a computer screen. Yeah.
Yes, Chef, we are also excited then and hoping now we can also see each other face to face. All right, so now to award the certificate of appreciation to Chef Bruce and also to close the lecture series, may we call on our department chair of the Hotel and Restaurant Management, Ms. Marichu Liwanag.
Good afternoon, Isa. Good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon po.
good afternoon, Chef Bruce. We are all so privileged to have you today in our webinar. We believe that one of the world-renowned chefs is here. No, we are listening to you as well with our students, and we are really, really proud and happy to have you here today. Um, Chef Bruce Lim actually represented the food industry business right now, and I think he showed how quickly the restaurant industry adapt, no, during the pre-COVID and pandemic. But I believe that one of the takeaway that I learned from Chef is that how the restaurant industry became flexible, and at the same time there's a big dynamics in their operating schemes, from a solo, from maybe a combo, from a family meals to mobile kitchens. There are a lot of changes, and I guess that it is actually easily accessible to all of us because of the innovations and maybe the different um, logistics and delivery apps that we have internationally and even locally here in the Philippines. We have a lot. So I believe that most of the students right now possible can imagine how the food industry has a big transformation, and as what Chef Bruce said, no, keep on learning, and maybe this is the right time for you, for all the students who are listening like now, to consider to do research, not only in research by knowing how the behavior of the consumers or the eating habits, or possibly the how the restaurant industry can sustain their businesses. This is the right time for us to understand that the changes actually should happen, and all of us here who are the faculty or even the students could really embrace the changes and be positive all the time, that not all know that what we do can actually have a big impact. But if you focus on what you want to do, no, for what, like Chef Bruce said, think positive and give the best, give to the consumer the best quality food, you can survive, you can sustain your business, as long as food is always there, as long as the food industry never stops, because we believe that celebrations, gatherings will never stop, even at home. So thank you very much, Chef Bruce. And to award the certificate, let me read the citation. Okay. FEU awards this certificate of appreciation to Chef Bruce Lim for sharing his knowledge and expertise as a speaker of industry mentorship program for the advancement of classroom teaching impact. Given this 4th of September 2021 at FEU Manila, signed by our Dean, Dr. Joy Sheila B. Era, the Dean of the Institute of Tourism and Hotel Management. Congratulations, Chef Bruce Lim.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for having me. It was an honor and a privilege to talk to you all and kind of share some insight about what's happening in the F&B industry at the moment.
Thank you, Chef.
Thank you, Chef, and thank you, Miss Marichu. But before we say our goodbyes, let us have a photo opportunity with Chef Bruce. Okay, so may I ask our dear professors and also our attendees to open their cameras? Open po tayo ng camera. Don't be shy, guys. Ayan, nag-open na ng mga cameras. Dumadami na tayo sa together mode. Okay. Meron pa po mag-open ng cameras. Alright, ready na po? Ready na po tayo? Okay, guys, smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, waki naman po tayo. Waki po. 1, 2, 3. Alright, that's great. Thank you so much po.
Thank you again, everyone. Thank you so much.
Sa pa mo. Hindi kami
Thank
na-picturean
you.
eh po.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chef.
Chef.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, everyone. Doc Pam, thank you.
Thank you.